Howdy, y'all. Welcome to the EEARSS podcast produced by Terrier TV here at Titusville High School. I am Frank. That is Bill. That is where Cindy is normally at.
Yes, over there, yes.
Yep. Sadly, Cindy is a little under the weather. So.
Yes, she's not feeling well.
Yep. Oh, Lord. Bill?
There's all kinds of crud going around.
There is some crazy stuff going around, like the super flu's happening,
all
kinds of these crazy colds. Does this happen every winter, or is this my imagination?
No, it happens every winter. It goes through. Yeah.
Well, okay. What I didn't think about, though, is it because the ladies are not in the boots yet? The Han Solo boots have not been broke out till the weekend, probably.
Well, no, we had that one cold snap, premature cold snap in November.
For one day?
Well, yeah, and the boots came out, buddy.
You saw the boots?
Oh, I saw boots.
I didn't see the boots.
Well, yeah, but boots will be out this week because it's going to be bad.
It'll be boot weather.
It's going to be cold.
100% boot weather.
Yep.
Anything interesting going on this weekend?
This weekend? No, not that I know of.
I talked to Frank Schwindel for a second over the weekend.
Okay.
He told you he's coaching now at Rutgers. He's coaching baseball at Rutgers.
Okay.
And I asked him to let me know if they're going to play UCF or not. Because if they do, we should go see him.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
I don't know if that's a normal back and forth between those two teams or not.
It would be because they're in different conferences. It would
be
a special. It would be like before they start conference play, which they do play a lot of different teams.
Okay. Yeah. Baseball season's a long season.
Yes.
I imagine it's probably the same in college, right?
Yes. Yes, it is.
All right. You ready to jump into this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So today on the podcast, we are blessed to be joined by Akshit Suthar. Thank you so much for joining us. Did I lose him?
No, I think he's there.
You still here, buddy?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, good.
There we go.
Good to have you here, bub. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. Thank you so much for having me, Frank.
Oh man, we're just honored to chat with you for sure. You've had a very interesting journey in your wildlife career. Can you walk us a little bit through just kind of where you're at now, what you're working on, and maybe your path to getting there?
Yeah, sure. That sounds good. Yeah. So currently, I am a PhD candidate at Clemson University's James C. Kennedy Waterfowl and Wetlands Conservation Center in South Carolina. And currently, my research focus on understanding how waterbirds use the historical rice field impoundments in coastal South Carolina, which is spread over from entire coastal South Carolina around 95,000 hectares. I use some cool technologies like drone and passive acoustic monitorings, and we investigate that how these impoundments and their characters support more waterfowl, which is a very much important habitat in the Atlantic flyway. So if I start from my journey, how I get here, this is kind of like some interesting and long journey. I would start from my childhood time, where I'm originally from India, and I grew up in a small village with a population of like 1,500 people.
Wow, okay.
And where the nature was not something that you visit, it is something you live every day, because that you are a part of the nature in the, the rural India and the village culture. During that early days, I had a very big influence of my father, and he has a passion for writing the environment, and he wrote regularly for the local magazine in the local language about the wildlife, local communities, ecotourism, and environmental issue. And I was reading his articles, and also we would watch nature documentaries together. And this is how I believe most of the biologists start their journeys, just watching some documentaries on TV, on National Geography and Discovery. And this is how I also start. But the thing is, like, I was watching the documentaries with my dad, and he was always explaining some interesting thing to me. And he always reminded me that the humans are a part of the ecosystems. We are not above it. And that idea always stay with me and really shape how I think about the conservation even today.
Man, what a great lesson that is.
Oh yeah.
That's a special lesson from your pop for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is how I reshape and shape my thinking during my early childhood. So my exposure to the conservation and real research professional actually start during my undergraduate time, when I was like a 17-year-old. Even though the interesting thing is, like, I study my undergrad, the bachelor degree in the chemistry.
Okay.
And during that time, one of my professor, his name is Dr. Kalpesh Anjaria, he noticed my passion for wildlife. he encouraged me to go into the field and join birdwatching trips, wildlife rescue, the nature camps, and he showed me that curiosity mattered more than the label on my degree. So he even gave me the first opportunity to teach, which helped me to find confidence as an educator.
There is not a whole lot better of a way to learn about a topic than to teach it. I'm sure you'd probably agree with that, yes?
Yes, absolutely. I agree with that.
Yeah, what a blessing that was.
Now, what type of students were you teaching?
I was teaching the undergrad students who has the background of the biology, but at that time in India, the government has introduced the environmental education as a compulsory course for all undergrad students. And fortunately, I got opportunity to teach that course under the observation of my biology department professor, Dr. Kalpesh Anjaria. So that was interesting and helped me a lot to understand about environment and how they are connected.
So you say it's a compulsory course. The government requires it?
Yes,
What-
it was a compulsory course.
Okay, so what is their goal? What do they
The
want?
goal was to so basically when we see usually the wildlife biologist and ecologist and who are connected with this field like a wildlife conservation and research, they mostly learn about the ecosystems and environment. But the goal was like if you are an engineer, if you are a scientist, if you are a mathematician, still at least you should have the basic knowledge about environment and how they function. So this is how you can like incorporate, or when you are doing something about engineering or like a building something, then you always have some nature background and you can consider your all design and your future work and the innovations considering the environment is an important part. So that was their main goal, that everyone should have some understanding and the connections with the environment.
So they're trying to just make everybody more well-rounded and
Correct.
have a background. That's a good idea.
It's
Now, are they
something-
still doing that?
Yeah, still they're doing that.
Okay.
That's something we should be doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
We should have more of that over here. I think it might change some people's minds on some ideas.
or at least
Mhm.
give you a background so that you understand, and
Correct.
you don't keep making your assumptions that may or may not be correct.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. So now I know when you were working on your your undergraduate and your master's study both in India, you did
Mhm.
quite a few different things. You worked on a lot of stuff, and you guys even at one point started a nonprofit, didn't you?
Correct, yeah. So during my undergrad, that I got that education opportunity. And even that time, I was helping to set up a small rescue and rehabilitation center in my biology department. And we start bringing some injured birds and animal. And that was the moment that I realized that this is not just my hobby, but this is something I want to do in my life. So as you said that I went for my master's degree and I got my master's in environmental science, where I studies the bird diversity in very harsh and dry landscape. During that time, I also worked with a different non-profit, including the WWF, where I was studying the house sparrow in the cities. Also, I work with the Wildlife Institute of India, which is very prominent institutions in the Southeast Asia. And I was studying on the sloth bear ecology and how they interact with humans. So that was the side project I was working. And that's where I learned how to do real field science, walking transects, collecting scientific data, setting trail cameras, and understanding how animals and people interact. But as you said that, we were we set up some non-profit organization in India. So that was one of the biggest turning point in my life when I start observing the snake bite, the fears of the snake, and people killing the wildlife out of panic, in around my area where I grew up. So with that, considering those aspects, I start talking with my professors and the classmates, and we start a small non-profit to rescue and rehabilitate wildlife, particularly focusing on the snakes and the mugger crocodiles in our area, and educate the people about that. So that group still exists and still run today. And the good thing is, today they grow up and they work across multiple districts with around 100 young volunteers, helping the both wildlife and the rural communities. And surprisingly, we saw very positive attitude from the people towards wildlife, particularly snakes and the mugger crocodiles now. And we also saw that snake bite cases uh, reduce in our rural area where I grew up. So that was something that I can see as an impact from that nonprofit, which I started when I was 18-year-old.
You built something special that lasted. That means something.
Yeah, I appreciate. I agree that. And around that same time, I was working on the human and mugger crocodile conflict in the Gujarat, which is my state, and I got opportunity to work with the state department where we were walking, irrigation canals, the wetlands, and trying to understand where crocodiles move and where the people are at risk. And we found some high hotspots area where the mugger crocodiles and human interactions very high, and we brought some models like how the villagers can use the village pond, and simultaneously how the mugger crocodile also use that resources, the natural resources, and they stay together without any conflict. So we brought some models, and uh, I would like to say that so far, after 10 years, within these 10 years, we haven't seen any human mugger crocodile conflict in my districts after that model.
Wow, that's special.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have a very unique background as an undergraduate and as a graduate student. You had a lot of experience with a very diverse background of animals because you were blessed to grow up in an area where they were all right there in your backyard.
Mm-hmm.
That gives you a huge leg up on everybody else, I would think.
Correct. Yeah, I'm fortunate in that way. That's I grew up in that area where every village has village pond. We have canals, we have rivers, we have leopards, we have snakes. We have mugger crocodiles. So that was a really unique place where I born and brought up and got all my education. So definitely, I would say I'm fortunate about that.
So what brought you to the United States?
So in the United States, that when I was working on this all aspect, uh, this all experience realized me that I wanted to work with a bigger scale, not just saving, the individual animals, but understanding how the entire landscape functions. And that led me to study wetlands and waterbirds. And eventually, that thought brought me in the United States at Clemson University in South Carolina.
So now you're here and you're studying for your PhD. Now, long term, do you plan to stay here in the States, or do you want to go back to India? What do you think I mean, knowing that none of us know what tomorrow's going to bring, but what are your plans?
So it's completely, it's depend on the opportunity. But I thought that, when I start working in the United States, I had, more opportunity and exposure with the new tools and technologies, which I am always very much passionate. And that's why I incorporated, some drone, thermal cameras, and acoustic surveys for the secretive Mars birds, and using some artificial intelligence model in my current PhD project. And also I'm working on some side project with some other colleagues in my lab. So I would say that if I get opportunity to work here, that would be, help me to grow as a scientist. But if I get, opportunity to go back to the India and work there, still I would feel like I am blessed that all experience I got here in United States, I will bring that all experience back to India and help people to, understand these ecosystem functions far better, and would help them, like better than what I was doing, 5 years ago in India. So it's completely depend on opportunity.
Right. Well, yeah. That's exciting. I mean, you're in an exciting part of your life. There's there's so many different opportunities that are going to be in front of you.
Yeah, absolutely, Bill.
Now, what are some of the things you're focusing on with your PhD studies currently?
Yeah, so along with my PhD study, I also teach undergrad creative inquiry class here at the Clemson University, where the class name is Drone, Ducks, and Decision Support, where we teach undergrad students about wetland functionals and how that wetland habitat support more waterbirds populations in the Atlantic flyway and focusing on historical rice field in coastal South Carolina. So this is kind of like not traditional class, but the students get hands-on experience with that. So basically, students get out into the field, use their tools and technology. They understand all the aspect and collect data and analyze that data. And but at the end, they produce some products, such as like they go to the conferences and present as a poster or as a talk, or if the data is very relevant, and then we can publish that as a manuscript research paper. So this is all with the creative inquiry students that I do. As a side project, I was working with my advisor, Dr. Jim Anderson, and one of his collaborative colleagues, Dr. Alan Biggs from West Virginia University. We got 10 years shorebird data from the Hilton Head Island, and we did all modelings and how the climatic variables impact on that 10 years trend, and we published that data as well. So this is something I work as a side project. Another side project I would say with our Baruch Institute scientist, Dr. Thomas Rainwaters, and my lab mates colleagues, that we are developing some new methodology where we can use the drone technologies to estimate the American alligator's body length. And this is something currently that we are analyzing and working on that data. So this is something, the cool technologies that we are developing and also evaluating that method in the field as well. So this is some side project that I'm working along with my PhD project.
Yeah, I believe Miriam talked a little bit about that, the size estimates with drones whenever we had her on a month or so ago.
Yeah.
And that's some very interesting stuff.
Yeah, this is really interesting. Yeah, I was, watching that podcast episode, and I heard about that, and this is really cool stuff that I was watching the Miriam's podcast, and we are very much excited about that.
Now, let's say we have a lot of families, a lot of students that listen to this program, and we have people around the world that listen to it. I think you provide a very unique opportunity to speak to a lot of those people in other countries that that are trying to figure out, okay, I want to do this. Maybe I want to do something with conservation. How do I go to the next step? Should I do it? Can you maybe walk somebody through what the pluses and minuses are of the journey you've really been on?
Yeah, of course, definitely. I can do that. And for that journey, in the short, if I have to say something, then I could say, stay always curious and don't be afraid to start small things. You don't have to be born in the right place, or you don't have to be coming out from the perfect background to work in the conservation. And that curiosity that you always keep in your mind, that slowly open the doors that you never imagined in your life. And this is something that I lived. So this is based on my experience, I could say. So this is something I would definitely say to the people around like a world that they are trying to explore some similar opportunities and work in the conservation field.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where you take all this, because there's a lot of people that spend their entire lives trying to get just the experience that you had as a young man growing up literally in it, and then that blessing you had of a dad who really focused you on conservation at a young age. And you not only were focused on it, you lived it. You lived in the environment that you were studying. That's not a thing many people get the opportunity, or truly the blessing to have.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. And the good thing is, I always say the people when I talk with people, like, I am very much fortunate to have the great people around me. They are always supportive. They always want me to succeed. Even if I start from my dad to my biology department professor to my PIs, principal investigator with whom I work, or even with my state department agency officers, and even currently, my advisor, Dr. Jim Anderson, they all are very much supportive, and they always want me to learn more and be a you know the improve myself as a scientist. So this is something I always tell people, having the great people around you, keeping them around you, this is really important
It
for
is.
your growth.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And
Absolutely.
I'll tell you what, watching all that you're doing, and just keeping, I keep a little bit of track of you, the things you're working on, the things you're doing, and you're an inspiration to so many that are trying to get to the same spot that you're at right now. So, dude, keep grinding. It's awesome to watch.
Thank you, Frank. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's pretty special. Well, buddy, we thank you so much for joining us, taking the time to chat with us, and this has been pretty special.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Frank. And I'm so fortunate to talk about my journey and my experience with your audience. So thank you for this opportunity.
Hey, keep going after it, buddy. I'm excited to see where you go and what's next for you. And yeah, well, you have a fan over here for sure.
I appreciate it. Thank you, man.
All right, sir. We'll chat with you soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a good.
You too, buddy.
Thank you.
Bye. Yeah, it's not often you hear about people that didn't. Most people, they kind of figure out where they're going in their life and their career. You don't hear many people, especially in the conservation world, that grow up invested into it. I mean, he lived it. He lived it. I like to think I'm one of those where I had a family early on that we were always out doing stuff, and then
but
his is different because he literally lived it.
But also, though, there's interventions. There's things that happen. His undergrad degree, he was in chemistry.
That's true.
And then
you're right.
Somebody steps in and says, I see that you have this mind for this, and leads him on that path, which, and
sounds like where he was meant to be, honestly.
Exactly. And he said, the people around you. And it seems to me that he's always had a group of people around him that have helped him get to where he is today and be successful.
It comes back to good people attract good people.
Yes.
And there's really something to that.
I think so.
If you are a good human being, you will attract good human beings that will want nothing but positive and like high energy stuff for you.
Yeah.
And he's one of those.
Yeah, I agree. I think so.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. All right, Bill, let's wrap this thing up.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, y'all. Thank you for tuning into the EEARSS podcast produced by Terrier TV here at Titusville High School. If you'd like to learn more about EEARSS, you can go over to EEARSS.org or .com or alligatorrobb.com, ROBB. It's my last name, not my first name. Check out a lot of the cool things we have going on there. We have 170 episodes in our podcast over 5 seasons. We have a little list of our projects we're working on, and we also have something called EcoFest, which is coming up on May 23rd in Cocoa Village. A couple big-time country music stars coming into town, which will be on our podcast in the next couple of weeks, talking about being here. It's going to be pretty exciting. So you guys want to learn more about all that and more about EEARSS, head on over there, check it out, and we thank you much for tuning in, and we will catch you all next week. Bye-bye.